Welcome to another episode of Message from Mom, where we're busting the myth that mothers-in-law aren't necessarily monsters-in-law. And I'm joined by my lovely co-host who happen to be my daughters-in-law. And I have Chelsea to the right of me. I mix it up, so I just want to see if you pay attention.
Hi, I'm Chelsea, and I'm married to Beth's middle son, Andrew.
You did pretty good, but you hesitated for a second.
I know.
So it's not my turn yet. And to the left of me is Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm married to Beth's oldest son, Alex.
Well, there you go. Well, we have a very fun installment today because it's not quite holiday time, but boy, I'm telling you, it's going to be here before we know it. And we introduced this segment a couple of months ago. So it's based on was it a TV show? I ask you this every time.
No, it's a radio program
Radio.
on the BBC.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You'd think I would remember that, but I won't. I will be asking the same. Somebody said once there are no dumb questions, so
There aren't any.
there's no dumb questions. So anyway, it's a BBC show based on desert island discs, and then we've morphed it into our own. So we've done desert island food, we've done desert island movies, we just did TV shows. I believe.
Yeah, we did. I think we've done food, TV shows, and songs.
And songs. That's right. So today, in anticipation of the holiday season, so we are doing our rendition of holiday movies. So each of us will be sharing 5 of our top holiday movies, and we usually just do it round robin style. So I'll kick it off to you, Kelly, and you can get us going here. And now I'll be just thinking about holiday movies the rest of the day. I think this is our last podcast of the day, so I actually can go watch a little bit of TV later today. So
Yeah, there
okay.
you go.
So what do you have for us? What is your top 5 desert island holiday movie?
Okay, so this is it was actually once I started thinking about holiday movies, I was like, because I thought, oh, there's only a few. But then I started really thinking about it. I'm like, actually, there's quite a few that I really enjoy over the holiday season. So this is episode 38, and we are airing this on October 26th. So just in time for Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas movies.
That's
So-
right. That's right. It's not just strictly Christmas movies. This can be, and I'm glad you brought up Halloween because
Yeah.
sometimes we do forget about Halloween movies.
Yeah, and there's so many great Halloween movies, whether it's a scary movie or it's a movie that's just set at Halloween. Like there's a lot of good ones out there. So I don't have any of them in my list though because I'm not a scary movie person.
I can guess what someone's top movie is going to be when it's her turn.
Oh,
But
okay.
anyway, but it's not her turn yet.
Right.
So, but
I think I know what you're talking about.
But I know Chelsea really loves this one Halloween movie, and I'm pretty sure it's on her list. But anyway,
Yeah.
this is we're not going to steal the thunder from Kelly. So Kelly,
Okay. So this is in no particular order, but the first movie that always comes to mind when I think of holiday movies for me, it's one I watch every single year, and that's Christmas Vacation, the National Lampoon's.
with Chevy
That's a
Chase.
great
Chevy
one.
Chase, yeah.
Uh-huh.
It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's my favorite of the Vacation series. As much as I love, the first one, I think Christmas Vacation really stands out as the best among whether it's the Vegas Vacation, the regular vacation, European Vacation. Christmas is the best one.
Is it?
Yeah.
I
Was
think
it
so.
one of the first ones? How did
No.
that franchise start?
Was it not the first one?
It wasn't the first one. The first one was when they go to Wally World.
Oh.
So they make that cross country trip, right?
Was that
And
with the grandma in the car and then
she's Aunt Edna,
Aunt
Aunt
Edna?
Edna.
Okay.
and she
Yeah.
dies. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So that was the first one. And then I think they went European Vacation, and then I think it was Christmas Vacation, and then Vegas.
Okay.
I could have Vegas and Christmas mixed up, but Christmas came a little bit later.
Okay. So why is it your favorite of the franchise?
Because it's just, they're all wonderful. I like all of them, but it's my favorite, I think, because I feel like they captured Christmas really beautifully, like perfectly, dysfunctionally.
With families.
Yeah. It's like the
Whose
most.
family are they going to visit?
Okay, so
hers?
everyone's coming to their house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They're
Because
hosting.
the thing about Chevy Chase's character in all of these movies is that he's trying to create the perfect family vacation, whether they're going here or there or everyone's coming to them. And I think what's so special about the Christmas one is that when you are an adult and you've, got your life established, like one of, I think, the big milestones is when your whole family, both sides, your
Mhm.
wife and your husband's side, they all come to your house, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
It's such a huge milestone, I think, to host a holiday um, at your house, and so he kind of takes that to the nth degree, like
Mhm.
Clark Griswold always does.
Mhm. Mhm.
But this is just so great because his family is so different from her family, so there's that dysfunction.
Right.
The kids, as in every vacation movie, just don't want anything to do with any of it.
Right.
Um, but yet Chevy Chase Clark is, forcing them to engage in all of these like very
And have fun.
sort of
while they're doing
traditional
it.
family things, like cutting down your own Christmas tree and, the turkey, like the family gets there so early. This was one of the things about this movie that always I thought was so strange when I was younger, and even now, is like the family gets there way before Christmas.
Mhm.
So they actually do like holiday shopping together.
Oh.
They
Yeah.
have
The whole
the
shebang.
yeah, they do the Christmas Eve meal, they do the Christmas Day thing. Like it's
It's a whole event.
it's a whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's just, and hilarity ensues.
Okay.
Yeah, that is a
All
great movie.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Chelsea, what's on your top holiday movie list if you're on the desert island?
Well, the movie that Beth is thinking of, and my all-time number one movie is Hocus Pocus.
Mhm.
I just love that movie.
I know. You really do.
I love Halloween. I would say Halloween is one of my
Well, I know
more
there's-
favorite holidays.
I know. Well, I'm pretty sure there's going to be another movie on your list too. That's
Yeah, it's also
Yeah.
Halloween.
mhm.
I mean, Hocus Pocus, it's not, and I love scary movies too, but
Mhm.
obviously Hocus Pocus is not a
It's
scary
not
movie.
scary.
I
It's
mean,
so cute.
maybe depending on what age you are, you would find it, if
Maybe
you
a
were
little
like
bit,
9 or
but
10,
yeah.
It's more endearing than
it's more
is,
endearing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Didn't they come out with a part 2?
They
recently?
did. I watched it. It wasn't, I mean, it's nothing is all ever as good as the first one.
mhm.
I mean, it was fine.
Did
It
they
was
all
just,
reprise their characters? So Bette
yeah,
Midler,
they
Sarah
did
Jessica
actually.
Parker,
They all
and
came back
Kathleen and Jimmy.
as their
That's good.
characters,
Uh-huh.
which is good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that they would have done a second one had,
No.
They
I
not
mean, because
all.
it's like, how do you do Hocus Pocus 2 if you can't at least have the three Sanderson
three, yeah.
sisters? You
Right.
know?
I know. Well, and
So.
they're a little bit. They're flaky witches at best. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
think, right? But that's what's so endearing about the
Yeah.
movie.
Well, it's,
Mhm.
and then it's like set, like in like the Northeast, and it just
Mhm.
like, I feel like that's just like
fall, and it's
fall.
cold, and
it like gives you the vibes of
leaves
Halloween, and
turned.
yeah.
And,
so I wait to watch it until the beginning of October, but I definitely always watch at the beginning of October, and
Gets you in the mood.
it gets me in the mood. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's to the point where it's like I've seen it so many times I can probably put it on, and it's like,
recite all the
yeah,
lines.
exactly.
That's right.
But yeah, that's
Well,
definitely
yes,
number one.
I can't tell you which Sanderson, which was my favorite, because they're all very endearing in their own way.
Yeah. I loved Winifred,
Yes.
Winnie.
Yeah.
the redhead.
Yeah.
She was, I don't know, I thought she was great.
Yeah.
Actually, so one Halloween, there was a group of us that dressed up for dance, and I was Winifred.
Oh.
And then another girl,
Did you get like special teeth or something like that?
I didn't do special teeth, but at the time I kind of had like a reddish tint to my hair, which is why I ended
you
up being
chose that.
Winifred.
Uh-huh.
But I did do like the big hair
Uh-huh.
and like the
Yeah.
fun makeup,
She has
and
buck teeth. She's the one that has
Yeah.
the buck teeth. Yeah.
but yeah,
hmm
it was fun.
Yeah. Super cute. Super cute movie.
Very cute movie.
Okay, well, I'm going to kick it off with a very classic Christmas movie. And I watch this absolutely every year. And we used to sit down as a family and watch it too. And that is It's a Wonderful Life, starring Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed. And when it first came out, it was not a commercial success. It was.
Really?
I know. Can you believe
Wow,
that?
no, I
I
cannot.
knew you were going to say that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that movie because I just love it. It just, oh my gosh, it just breaks my heart every time. It just is so sweet. Again, endearing, and here's a man, George Bailey, that's down on his luck. Boy, is he down on his luck, and everything is going against him, and he wishes that he had never lived. And so an angel comes, Clarence, who's a little bit. He kind of reminds me. He could fit in with the Sanderson sisters because he's not quite. He's trying to get his angel wings, and so
Yeah.
George is his way to do it. But anyway, It's just so sweet. It's one of the sweetest movies, and it really came into its own when I don't know, CBS or NBC, somebody bought the rights and so then started putting it on
Oh.
at night.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when it really caught on
Yeah.
in popularity. But Jimmy Stewart is perfect as George Bailey, and Donna Reed is amazing as Mary, and just their whole trajectory, and just the theme that family at the end of the day is all that matters. And it doesn't matter if you're down on your luck or maybe things are going well, but your friends and family will definitely see you through. And so those I love every bit of that movie.
Yeah.
So
You know, that's the thing about holiday movies in general is I think it is such a time for family that even the scariest, I was going to say serious Christmas movies, because there are some horror Christmas themed movies like Krampus, and
there are Bad Santa. Well, I guess
that's not a horror. That's more of a comedy. But there is another Santa movie that we watched last year that is kind of a, not quite a horror, but it's a little bit more of a kind of action movie. But I think all of those, like, the family is always at the center of all of them, no matter what the genre is. It always comes back, like the overarching lesson is about family, which I think is always kind of a fun
family and friends. And yes, it does. It takes a village to live your life. So, and that's what
Violent Night. Yeah, that's
Violent Night. Oh, okay.
With David Harbour. From Stranger Things. Yeah.
Okay. If you want a scary movie, that's not coming on My Desert Island, but
it's not on mine either. But it is. I actually enjoyed it.
Okay. All right. So Kelly.
Okay.
Number two.
So I wanted a Thanksgiving movie, and I chose two actually. But one of them I'm more excited to share because you actually haven't heard of this movie, and I think you'd really like it. It's called Home for the Holidays. And it's with Holly Hunter, Anne Bancroft, and Robert Downey Jr. And Claire Danes.
Great cast.
Yeah. Directed by Jodie Foster.
Oh.
Yeah.
Even better.
Yeah, I can't remember if this
holidays.
movie flew under the radar or what.
Yeah,
but,
I had not heard
seen
of
that
it.
one, but
Yeah.
I'd have to see the picture of it just to.
Holly Hunter is the main character. She she's got this daughter, Claire Danes. She's divorced, or maybe she was never married, I'm not sure, but she's a single mom. Claire Danes decides that she's going to spend Thanksgiving with her boyfriend's family, so Holly Hunter goes home by herself to her mom and dad for Thanksgiving, and then her kind of degenerate brother is played by Robert Downey Jr. It's a degenerate with a heart of gold. But she plays a woman who she loses her job right at the beginning of the holiday, and so she kind of goes home feeling defeated, and it's just a family,
feel good,
family feel good kind of movie, and I just love Holly Hunter. I think she's great, and Anne Bancroft is really cute in this movie. And the guy that plays her husband, which I'm sorry I didn't make a note of his name, but you'd recognize him, plays her husband, and the mom and dad are like so in love. It's very sweet. After all the years.
Well, I've always loved Anne Bancroft. What a great actress, and Holly Hunter too. And she's kind of was always under the radar screen, I think. Holly Hunter. She had these like really big blockbusters at the beginning of her career, and then she just kind of. I mean, you still see her in movies, but not to the star level. I guess I thought she was going to have at one point.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if that just goes to the choices that she made. Like she's done a lot of quirky things, like she was in Raising Arizona, and I think she's like chosen roles that maybe are more for her, rather than taking the money roles. Like she's doing she has done things that are more
Pieces
interesting
that she
to her.
wanted to.
Yeah, and maybe stretching her,
acting chops.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
but I really like her.
That's a great cast. So I'm definitely going to look that up.
It's a good movie.
For the holidays.
Home for the holidays. Yeah.
All right.
And then just really quickly, the other Thanksgiving movie that people I think forget about as being a Thanksgiving movie is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Oh,
Steve Martin and John Candy.
Right, because they are trying to get home for Thanksgiving. That is a pretty funny movie. It's been a while since.
Shout out to the Thanksgiving movies. Yeah.
Yeah, there really aren't that many.
There aren't, and it's so funny that there aren't, because if there's one truly American holiday that people who are either from here or not from here tend to celebrate in some way or another,
Thanksgiving.
It's Thanksgiving, because there's this whole other like Friendsgiving, like it's developed its own It's like,
His cult following.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's got this little, I don't know, it's got a thing, and whether or not you agree in Thanksgiving for all of what it originally stood for, I think we all still look to it as a time to get together and celebrate with a meal. So
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And plus we get a long weekend. And shopping used to be involved.
Oh,
We used to
yeah.
have Black Friday right
Black
after
Friday.
Thanksgiving.
Now, I think
so-
Black Friday starts in September now or
I
something.
know. Oh, well, and thank the Lord, the stores don't open at midnight anymore.
Oh, I bet
Some
some
of
of
them
them
do.
still
Do they still?
Yeah.
Well, not very many anymore.
Doorbuster deals.
It used to be every single retailer, and now it's just it's a select few because everything's online now.
Right.
So
Yeah.
anyway, okay, Chelsea, your second holiday movie.
My second holiday movie, we talked about a little bit in one of the podcasts that we recently did. It's also a Halloween movie, or I would consider it a Halloween movie, Practical Magic.
Mhm.
So
I knew that would be on your list
Yeah.
too.
Nicole Kidman and
Mhm.
Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually didn't wait until October. I watched it.
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh, you just
recently
watched
because
it?
we had talked about it. So I wanted to watch it, but
Mhm.
I just love that movie. I feel like it's got, it's got a little bit of like the spookiness in
Mhm.
it, with the fact that they're witches
Mhm.
and
So is that set at Halloween then? That or
I
it's
don't
just
think it's
no.
set at Halloween. Yeah, I don't, but I guess people consider it a Halloween movie because they're witches
Witches,
and
yeah.
Right.
But I actually don't think it's, well, they do talk about, there's a section and I think they finish it, the movie with this where they say on Halloween, we jump off the roof and like fly like on the brooms or whatever.
Okay.
So
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's your Halloween moment there.
Yeah.
And that's
Just witches.
Sandra Bullock and Nicole
Nicole
Kidman.
Kidman.
That's
Yeah.
what you said. So it's been I have watched it. It's been really a long time
Yeah.
Yeah.
since I've watched it, so I'll have to go revisit that.
Yeah. It's
Mhm.
definitely a movie. Those two are Halloween movies that I watch every year.
Okay.
For sure.
Nice. Okay, well, I have another traditional Christmas movie, and I wasn't even really sure if this fits into the category of a movie, but it came out when I was probably in first or second grade, and it was the TV show Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
So it was animated, and absolutely love it. I think they still bring it out every
They do,
year.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. What?
Breaking
Okay,
Bad,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, Burl Ives, he was a snowman in it, so he tells the story of Rudolph, and it's just such a sweet story. And you have there again Rudolph, who is being excluded from the reindeer world. Hence the song, and that he couldn't play in any of the reindeer games. But yet there again, his mom and dad loved him. He had this funny little elf that was also a misfit in the elf world, so they become fast friends. And then of course there's a little love interest, and then they go on this journey, and it just
There's always a journey.
there's always a journey. There
Like
has
the
to be a
elves.
journey. Definitely a journey, and then comes back full circle that everybody loves Rudolph, including Santa,
Yeah.
because Rudolph saves the day in the blizzard. But very sweet, endearing show, and so that really is on my list. And I just have such warm memories because they would bring it out every year. We didn't know that at the time, so at the very beginning it was like, oh, are they going to bring out Rudolph again? And then it really did become a yearly event, and I still love it just as much today as
Yeah.
I did when I was in first grade
Yeah.
watching it.
It's a good one. And it's claymation, right?
Yes, claymation. Yes.
Which at the time I think it was such a clever
Huge.
way to get a story across that wasn't animation so much, but yeah, you've got that three-dimensional quality to it that just gives it a look. It's very specific. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yep. All right, we're back to you, Kelly.
Okay.
Round 3.
All right. So, Bad Santa. I never saw this movie when it first came out, but then maybe a year, the first Christmas that Alex and I spent together, he introduced me to it, and because I didn't really care about things like that at that point in my life, and Christmas movies, I guess. But he showed this movie to me, and I just thought it was so hilarious. Like it's so funny. I laugh out loud every single time I watch it. Billy Bob Thornton, I love that guy as an actor. I feel like he's been in some really good stuff and has done some really good roles, but I feel like he is like my favorite role of his is Bad Santa.
Really?
Yeah, because he is such an asshole.
Uh-huh.
He's so
He does that role
mean.
well.
He is so horrible, and he's so just like can't even like just do not even bother him with any like he just does that. So the deadpan delivery of stuff. I mean, it's just and it's humor that's right up my alley. Alex was totally right to show it to me, and it's become one of my favorite holiday
So you watch
movies.
it every year now.
It's so funny.
Yeah. I've never seen that.
Are you
actually.
serious?
I've seen it.
So every
It's
time
funny. It's a good movie.
every
I've heard about
time
it.
you hear the "on my head" reference, you've never known what that. You have to actually watch that movie.
No, I don't know what that reference
We
is.
constantly reference that line all the time.
On my head?
On my head? I mean, it's just, and this is the kind of humor that the movie is. Like, it's just so, like, not on the face of it funny, but it's so funny.
Okay. Okay.
Love it.
Bad Santa on my list. Okay, Chelsea, round 3. Is it another Halloween movie?
It's not.
What?
I've moved on to Christmas movies.
Okay.
Or holiday movies, I guess. But the Santa Claus, the first one.
Oh, with Tim Allen. It took me a moment. Okay, Tim Allen.
I love that movie. I used to watch that movie as a kid. I would watch it all year long, and just multiple times. I remember when I was like 10 or 11. I think I just continuously watched it.
I have a question about this movie.
Yes,
I haven't seen it for years, maybe since it came out. But does Tim Allen ever get an understanding as to why he becomes Santa? Like, do they explain like why this random man?
it's because basically when Santa Claus, that was Santa before he became Santa, was on the roof, and then he came outside because his kid was like, "There's someone on the roof." Like he was trying to basically see if he could stay up for Santa, and then he comes outside and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing? Get off my roof!" The guy falls. He basically disappears, and then he ends up with a card that tells him to put on the suit, and that's how he becomes Santa Claus.
Okay.
Which I don't know if they ever, like, they never actually say that Santa Claus dies, I don't think, but
It's implied, I think, if he disappears into vapor.
He just like disappears, and then basically there's like a card there, and like he puts, or I don't actually, I think there was a card there. His son is like, "Put on the suit, Dad, put on the suit." And so he puts on the suit, and that's where it's like
magic.
It's like locked in.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, now you're the next Santa because he chose to put the suit on.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
well, they've made more than, I mean, it turned into a little franchise, didn't it?
yeah, I think there's like 3 of them.
That's what I was thinking. At least 3 or 4.
They're all of them are good.
Are they all with Tim Allen? Is he still
all
the
with Tim
Santa?
Allen.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's what I thought.
All of them are good. And then it's got the mom. Oh my gosh, I'm not good with names, but the mom that is in this, she was also the mom in Mrs. Doubtfire, I think. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, Sally Field? Was Sally Field the mom in Mrs. Doubtfire?
Wasn't she?
Well, Sally Field was, I mean, she was.
Wasn't she?
She was married to
Or
Mrs.
maybe
Doubtfire.
they just look like each other.
Like a, I don't think there was a mom of Sally Field, was there?
No, the mom, like Sally Field played the mom
she was the
in
mom,
Mrs. Doubtfire.
Well, don't quote me on that, but they look very similar, if not.
It doesn't look like Sally Field is in Santa Claus. Anyway.
So the original Santa Claus.
The original Santa Claus.
I remember when that came out, and taking the boys to watch that in the theater.
Yeah, no, I really
the movie theater.
It's a good movie. It's a classic. Who did play the mom? Now I'm curious.
I'm just gonna look. Okay, well, while you're researching that, I will move on to my 3rd holiday movie. So this is a departure. So I had 2 very sentimental movies, Christmas movies. So this is, I think some people consider this a holiday movie or Christmas movie, and perhaps others do not. But I think Die Hard, the original Die Hard, is a Christmas movie.
A lot of people think that's a Christmas
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's a Christmas
Most people think that.
I think when it first came out, I don't think we did. So I think that so I revert back to that. But I think through the years, it truly has become, because it is set at Christmas time.
Yeah.
And that is one of my favorite action movies. And Bruce Willis, I've always loved him. And he play that role so well.
Yeah.
And we had, of course, we had the European bad guys, who've taken over the whole building, and it's only Bruce that can save the day, and he's having problems with his wife. I mean, there's a lot of suspense. There's a lot of really.
I don't know if I've actually watched Die Hard. Actually,
Haven't you? Oh, okay. You have got to go watch it. I think you would like it.
Because Reggie, what's his last name? That's in it.
That played the cop.
Yeah, that played the cop.
I couldn't tell you.
He's
what
on
it is.
Dancing with the Stars now.
Oh, is he really?
They just did like a Paso Doble to Die Hard.
Okay.
They just had their like Oscars night. And since he was in Die Hard,
okay.
Wendy Crewson
is. Oh, okay.
Oh, Wendy Crewson. I don't even know who that is.
Well, she looks very similar to.
Wow, I'm looking.
No, in her younger. This is like her older self, her younger self.
Excuse me. I don't even know who that is as an actress. So Wendy Crewson, if you're wondering,
the mom.
She was the mom in Santa Claus. Okay. Well, back to my movie.
So Reginald Vell Johnson is the Reginald Vell Johnson. Is that who you're thinking of? That's
and he was in Family Matters, right? Or no?
I don't think so.
What was he?
Was he? Oh yeah, no, he was. Yeah,
yeah, that's where a lot of people know him from.
He was super cute.
So everyone loves him on Dancing with the Stars.
Well, I can see why. And he's very likable in
dad
Die
from
Hard
Family
as well.
Matters. I totally forgot about that show. Yeah.
It's great. I mean, Die Hard's a really great movie, and Bonnie Bedelia plays the wife or the soon-to-be ex-wife. I mean, their marriage is on the rocks, and I've always loved her, and she's very cute. Well, I don't know if cute's the right word, but she plays a very good role in this movie.
And Alan Rickman is in it.
Yes, he was so good as one of the evil Europeans who want to take over the world, probably.
I love Alan Rickman. Yeah,
he did a really good job. But anyway, Die Hard, definitely, and it's definitely a rewatchable movie.
Oh,
I mean,
I think
it has really held up.
I think
held up so well.
It's become a classic, actually.
It's a classic, and it's held up very well. And as I said, I love Bruce Willis. It's really sad to hear that he's suffering from Alzheimer's or dementia. I'm not sure what he's specifically diagnosed with, but he's definitely been out of the public eye.
Yeah,
and he was such a great. I loved it when he burst on the scene with Moonlighting, and then
and Sybil Shepherd,
and then segued into the film industry. But loved Die Hard.
Yeah. I think it's widely considered a holiday movie.
Okay, well,
there are arguments about it, and I'll just follow that up with a movie. So I don't think anyone really, except for maybe a very few people, consider my next movie a holiday movie. However, if anyone who considers Die Hard a holiday movie, then you have to consider Trading Places a holiday movie.
Oh,
okay.
I love that movie.
So while the movie isn't specifically about the holidays, it takes place just like Die Hard over Christmas. So you have to consider it. If you go both ways, you have to consider this one in the same vein. And part of the reason why I think it actually gets more points for me as being a holiday movie is that there's this tremendous scene with Dan Aykroyd when he has traded places and he's completely down on his luck, like just at the lowest point of his life. And he shows up to his old company's, the firm's holiday party, and he's dressed as a Santa, but he is in the dirtiest, grossest Santa costume. And he goes into the party and he's at the buffet, and he picks up, and this is the most crucial part, he picks up a thing of smoked salmon, like a whole fillet of smoked salmon, and shoves it in his dirty Santa costume pocket. I mean, it's like, if you're going to have that in your movie, it's a holiday movie. So yeah, it's wonderful. And that whole segment, like of that whole part of that where he's in that Santa costume, like, they show him sitting on the bus and he's just totally drunk and like just a mess, but he's wearing a Santa costume. And so, and because so much of the movie takes place over the holidays, I feel like it's for sure a holiday movie.
Well, and Jamie Lee Curtis, I think, kind of steals that movie.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
she does a really good job.
Eddie Murphy is really amazing in that movie. The whole cast is fantastic. I love that whole movie from start to finish. And I've loved it for years, and I'll watch it every holiday season.
Well, it's been a while since I've seen it, so
I've never seen it before.
You've never seen it?
There you go. You have to see it. You have to watch that too.
So good. It's really funny.
And And there again, I think it's held up very well.
Yeah, I think there's certain aspects of it that have not aged well, but I think for the most part, like it's just such a clever story, and it's so well brought forward by every single actor in it that it's perfect. Yeah, it's a great movie. Love it.
All right, Chelsea.
My next one is The Holiday.
I love that.
Oh, that's with Kate Winslet and
Cameron
Cameron
Diaz,
Diaz and Jack Black. Yeah.
Yep.
Jude Law.
So
Dreamy Jude Law.
two little cute couples.
Yeah. So I like that movie a lot. I feel like that's a classic movie that I watch every year. And we were talking about this before, but just the little cottage that she has out like on the outskirts of London or wherever it's at.
Because Cameron Diaz comes from Hollywood, right? So she has the big,
Hollywood.
beautiful modern home.
Yep.
And Kate Winslet comes to that, and then she goes to
They switch.
Kate's
Yeah.
little cottage. And
And they're
In the little
both
countryside.
dealing with the breakup
I
and
know. It's
trying to
very
get away from
traumatic.
their
Yeah.
ex
Yes.
and then they end up falling in love.
I know.
Yeah, it's a very sweet movie. I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like the switching back and forth too between the two storylines and those small connections that are made. Like I was saying earlier, like Cameron Diaz is one of my least favorite actresses of all time, but I really liked her in this movie.
She
I don't
pulled
mind her,
this one off.
But yeah, that's my number 4.
All right.
Love it.
Well, the next one on my list. So this might not be considered a holiday movie, but I think that it is, obviously, because it's coming with me on the desert island, and it is Family Stone.
Oh, The Family Stone. That
The
is a
Family
holiday
Stone.
movie.
Do they
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're all together for Christmas.
I know, for Christmas, but
Yeah.
okay. I mean, just because
That's a
something's
sad one, right?
set.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
kind of sad.
Diane Keaton dies.
Yeah.
but-
Okay.
Well, I guess I don't necessarily think that just because it's set at Christmas time, it's a holiday movie. But I picked this just because, again, it's very endearing and it focuses on a family. And so Sarah Jessica Parker's in it. I mean, great cast.
Really great cast. Claire Danes also.
Claire Danes is in it, and Rachel McAdams is in it. Diane Keaton is in it.
Dylan McDermott.
Craig T. Nelson is in it,
Diane Keaton.
and Luke Wilson is in it.
Wilson. Yeah,
Anyway.
it's a huge cast.
Huge cast, huge ensemble cast, and they all do very well. And the story really moves along because it's a mother and father that, and we find out that Diane Keaton is dying. So one of the sons is coming home with his new fiance, and she's pretty much an uptight bitch,
Yeah.
and not fitting well, or
It's
not
just
fitting
Sarah
not fitting
Jessica
in well with
Parker's
the
character.
family. But it's very sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, there again, we have the family values and how everybody is going to open up their arms somewhat, even if begrudgingly, with Sarah Jessica Parker's character. But it,
Was it Luke
It has
Wilson or
some-
Owen Wilson? Is it?
I thought it was Luke.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Which
think you're
one?
right.
Well, I don't know. Sometimes
Hold on, I'll look it up.
I get them mixed up. I think
It's
yeah,
Luke Wilson?
it's Luke.
Okay.
The one that was in
Because then
Legally Blonde.
Yeah, Luke
That one,
Wilson.
and I think that's Luke. Yeah.
So then
Yeah,
the
it's
the
Luke
thing
Wilson.
about that
So
movie
he's a
that I really
brother.
like is that even though no one really likes Sarah Jessica Parker's character for Dylan McDermott's character, she does find her way to Luke Wilson, and they're the perfect match. And then
That's right.
so they all find their way,
That's right.
and then Claire Danes ends up getting with
Dylan
Dylan
McDermott.
McDermott.
So basically, it's two brothers and two sisters, and so they swap partners.
Yeah.
Nobody's married yet, but the whole premise is Dylan McDermott is going back to introduce his fiance to the family, and then ask his mom for her engagement ring.
That's right.
Which is hence the family stone. So, but there again, it's just very sweet. I just love I loved actually Rachel McAdams' character. She
Yeah.
kind of has a minor part, but there again, I think she kind of steals the movie a little
She's
bit.
a mean sister. Yeah.
She is, but she's endearing as she's being.
Well,
mean.
she's
She's
not
not,
that
like,
she's
so
mean, but
mean.
she's
just kind
protective of her brothers,
and she's just kind of rolling her eyes, at Sarah Jessica Parker. But very sweet movie, and just
I really like that.
I
I
never get tired watching it.
Yeah, I watch
Never
that
get
movie
tired
every year
watching it.
too. Yeah, it
It's
didn't
really
make my
good.
list, but it's definitely up there. It's a really good movie.
And I absolutely love every single character and perfectly cast. I mean, the actors are all perfectly cast.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Okay. Well, you're gonna lead us into our final round.
All right,
Number
well,
5, Under
yeah,
Pressure. Because
well-
this is, you only get 5 choices.
I saved the best for last. I snuck in a 6th choice, but so Christmas Story. I had to pick this one honestly because I have such fond memories of watching it with my grandparents, and my grandfather totally likened himself to the dad in this movie and was curmudgeonly, and just he really identified with him. And so, for years and years and years, like, this was what we would do for the holidays was watch this movie. And then when TBS started doing the 24 hours of the Christmas Story, I'm all for that. I will literally, even if I'm not watching it at all, it's just on in the background for 24 hours over Christmas. As soon as it starts until it ends, I just have it on in some TV in the house. It doesn't matter which one, but I absolutely love that movie. And it never gets old.
It's so cute. Well,
That's a good one.
Mac and I always used to say fragile because
Fragile. It must be Italian.
Fragile.
Oh, honey, I think that says fragile. Oh, yes. Well,
I know.
he thinks it's a bowling alley. Like, the movie's so good. It could be
is.
anything in here. It's a bowling alley. It
know.
could be anything.
So
good.
cute. Yes. That's a favorite of mine. That is a true classic.
It is.
Yeah, that
True classic.
Well, and what about when Ralphie's doing the code ring in the bathroom? And it's drink your Ovaltine, and he's like, "What? Son of a bitch!" So good, so good.
Well, and the mom dressing them up in their snowsuits.
Yeah,
you know.
I can't put my arms down. He looks like a tick. Like he's just like
like a full tick.
It's just so cute and so true. I mean, it really
Yeah.
does.
And how the villain kid, he has yellow eyes. So I mean, there's just so many bits and pieces of that even if you didn't grow up in the 40s,
Yeah.
I think if you're old enough to have grandparents that have told you stories about growing up in the 40s, like there's this very kind of sentimental, nostalgic feel to that entire movie. Like she's cooking cabbage, for dinner, and the kid drinking the milk under the sink. Like, I mean, there's just so many parts of that movie that are just so quintessential Americana, like a Norman Rockwell painting. Like, it's just so.
It
very good.
brings us back to a special time.
Yeah.
In American history. So, all right, Chelsea.
All right.
Number 5. That's
Number
going
5.
to the desert island with you.
My last one is Jack Frost, which is a holiday movie where, have you seen it?
No. Is that animation or is it it's not real people, is it?
Part and part.
It's part, yeah. So basically the
I haven't seen it, so.
The dad basically passes away in a freak accident.
Okay.
And then he comes back as a snowman.
Oh.
And basically the kid, like loses the dad suddenly. The dad comes back as a snowman in the animation of that. And the kid's like a hockey player. And so he gets like a last little bit of his dad before he melts, because then he melts when it gets too warm.
Oh, okay.
But yeah.
I haven't seen that. And actually, now that I'm looking, because you pulled it up on your computer screen, I was thinking of a different movie.
So Michael Keaton is in it.
Love him.
I was gonna say he's the dad, right? He's the voice of the Jack Frost.
Yeah, he's the voice of the Jack Frost.
Yeah.
But I just think it's a really cute movie. It's a little sad because at the end the snowman melts, but it's just
it's a sweet story that
it's a sweet story.
Kid gets a little more time with his dad.
Yeah. Okay, well, I definitely have to watch that, especially since Michael Keaton, even if it's his voice, because I love him.
Yeah.
Great character. Okay.
That's it.
Well, then I'm bringing it home to my 5th movie, and this is definitely a classic. I mean, goes way back in the day, and it's Miracle on 34th Street. So this is starring Maureen O'Hara, Natalie Wood as a young child. That's when she was a child actor. I think she's only like 5 or 6 in the movie.
Yeah.
She does an excellent job. And I mean, I couldn't tell you who the other characters are, but Maureen O'Hara is a working mom and she works at Macy's.
Yeah.
So we go all the way from Thanksgiving and, the Macy's Day Parade all the way up to Christmas. And Natalie Wood does not believe in Santa at all. And, along with her mom and along with a lot of other people. So there is a Santa that he's the Macy's Santa.
Okay.
But he really is the Santa.
How?
And so he brings back hope to Natalie Wood's character and Maureen O'Hara's character. So,
Yeah.
and it's just very sweet. It's very there again, just focuses on all those things that I love. It's family.
Mhm.
This was just a mom and a daughter. Chelsea, you would like it. Have you ever watched it? You'd like it.
I think I've watched it, but it's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
Or I've
Yeah.
at least watched parts of it.
Yeah, and there's a love interest too, which is, and especially way back in that era, there was always a love interest that
Of
had to.
course. She couldn't stay single for long.
No. I mean, why?
back then.
No, there were no girl bosses back then. Although she was kind of a girl boss because
Well,
she
I love
was-
Maureen O'Hara.
Oh my
right?
gosh,
I mean,
what a
she-
great actress!
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She played the mom in the original Parent Trap, I think, right?
she
And
did.
I absolutely.
Yes.
She was the hottest thing since I don't even know what in that
I
movie.
love her
She
with her
was
red
so
hair.
beautiful.
Mhm.
Oh my
Very beautiful.
gosh!
Well, if you love Maureen O'Hara, I hope you've watched The Quiet Man, which is one of my favorite.
I don't think I
movies
have actually.
Okay.
The Quiet Man.
with John Wayne, and it's
Okay.
set in Ireland.
Oh, I know of it, but I haven't actually seen
You
it
you have
because
to
I
watch
do know
it.
of her and John Wayne. Yeah.
She is so good in that. She's
Okay.
just, I mean, that's one of my favorite movies, but I digress because we're talking about our holiday movies.
Holiday
but yes,
movies.
she's great in Miracle on 34th Street, and it gets me every time. And
Yeah.
and honestly, Natalie Wood, I'm just, every time I watch it, that's what I'm impressed with, is what a great actor she was at such a young age, what
Mhm.
presence she had.
Yeah.
And there again, just, well, she doesn't really steal the movie, but she does an excellent job.
She's a really big
Mhm.
part of it, though.
Mhm. Oh yeah, she
Yeah.
definitely is. I mean, it really focuses around her
Yeah.
and then Santa.
Yeah.
So, okay, ladies. Well, we are going to take a quick break before we come back with my favorite segment, which is new and noteworthy. And we're back. So, I just love to share every week that this is my favorite segment because really we're just girlfriends and we're just sharing what we love. And I get some of my best recommendations from my daughters-in-law. So I'm going to kick it off this week with Kelly. And so you can either have something that's new or noteworthy. Maybe it's even both. So, and it could be a book, product. I mean, we kind of
Yeah.
cover the gamut here.
Well,
Just
you guys do.
whatever. Oh no. What?
Yeah, I have another.
Let me
TV
guess.
recommendation.
Kelly has a
Another
TV show.
Yeah.
We have to get you out of your box.
I know, dude. For real.
I run out of TV shows. I'm like,
I can never run out of TV shows. That is something.
But
I'll
actually,
never
I
do.
just looked at the script so I see what you're going to talk about. I just discovered this too. So go
Yeah.
ahead. I won't steal your thunder.
Was this on your list for
No,
New
no,
and
no.
Noteworthy today?
But I just started watching this, so I know
Okay.
of it.
Yeah, so I just actually watched this entire series
Mhm.
yesterday. It's on Netflix. Nobody Wants This.
So
Um,
cute. So
Clever
cute.
and cute. It's about a woman played by Kristen Bell,
Mhm.
and she has a sister, and they have
Mhm.
a podcast,
Uh-huh.
which I feel is apropos for
I know.
our conversation today.
Mhm.
They don't focus too heavily on the podcast. It's
Mhm.
really more about Kristen Bell making better choices romantically in life and meeting a very good man with a very
Mhm.
good job. He's a rabbi,
Mhm.
and
And she's not Jewish,
she's not Jewish.
which presents her
It's
a little
so-
bit of a challenge.
Yeah. So that's a challenge, but I think the bigger challenge for them to overcome is her inability to love herself enough to make choices that are different than ones she's previously made.
Mhm.
So I
Mhm.
think that there's this real thing with women where you can kind of get, if you're single for a long time, you can kind of get in this weird loop of like just choosing
Mhm.
a wrong person,
Yeah.
or you're single for so long, and I've experienced this myself, where you start being judgmental in a way where like a really great guy will come along,
Mhm.
but he'll like, I don't know, wear the wrong shirt or
Mhm.
like
His
and they
hair's
even
parted
talk-
on the right.
they even talk
wrong
about this
side
show
or-
where like she's broken up with people for the way that they run.
Uh-huh.
I mean, and this is like not, it seems silly, but it's actually totally true that like you can see something and then you can never unsee
get
it.
the ick.
They got the
Yeah.
ick.
Yeah.
Exactly.
She actually gets the ick in one episode,
does,
but
but
she
she overcomes
overcomes
it.
it.
She
So we're very
overcomes it.
proud of her. She's making she's making
you know,
progress.
You know what? It's a TV show like
Uh-huh.
for anybody who's been single, or maybe you have daughters who are single, or maybe, you know, you've experienced some element of this. And
Well, I'm single now.
really-
I can totally relate.
Yeah.
Yes. Uh-huh.
I think you,
Of
yeah,
things that you're going to
I think you would
knock
totally,
them, knock
totally
them
relate
out
to
of
this.
the
Yeah.
running, because it's like,
But this gal is at an age where she could still settle down and have children if she would just stop being so judgmental. Actually.
yeah.
So meet a good man and actually, like, you know, be less judgmental and kind of let yourself go a little bit. You
Well,
know,
super cute. So it's Nobody Wants This. And so do you think this will get picked up for another season?
I hope it does.
Or 'cause I haven't watched it all the way through, so I didn't know how it ended. If
It-
it was
it-
kind of a cliffhanger.
You know what? They could end the thing now and it could just be a standalone, but I think the cast is too good and
So
the
cute.
storyline
They're
is
all so cute.
so of the moment that there's no reason why this shouldn't be.
I love
another
her
season.
family. They're a complete disaster.
Yeah. It's funny. Like, it's dark comedy.
They're a
Really
cute
good.
disaster, though.
Yeah.
Disaster. Okay. Chelsea, what do you have this week for new and noteworthy?
I have a TV show as well, which I kind of briefly talked about on one of our other podcasts, but it's Tell Me Lies, and it's on Hulu. It's actually, the season 2 just came out, but I just discovered it. So I think I'm still on season 1. I think I'm kind of finishing season 1 now. But it's basically just about these college students, and it kind of like follows them around. Like, there's obviously a big party scene, and there's definitely a lot of sex in it, I would say. The like main girl and guy, and like the main guy in the storyline, Steven, he's kind of a little bit of a pathological liar, I would say. And lies come to him very easily, almost in like a, like, okay, that's creepy, you know, like, how are you able to lie about that and not, you know, let it bother
Right.
you?
I know. It's always interesting how people, and there are real people that can do exactly that.
So, well,
No
and
conscience of-
also,
so is this kind of a dark?
so
Would
it's
you say
kind
it's more of
of,
a
so it's
darker-
dark. It's kind of a drama, and how it starts is basically one of the roommates of the main girl. So her roommate basically dies in this car accident, and as the season goes, the story unfolds, and it turns out that there's like more to it that we didn't know before. So it's like every single episode, there's like a new unraveling of
Oh,
the connection between what happened that night and the people in the story.
I like it.
So,
That
so a
sounds
little bit
good.
of a mystery, a little bit
Of mystery,
suspense, a little
drama,
dark.
dark.
Sure, there's romance. I mean, you already said there's sex, so for sure there's sex.
There's definitely-
maybe,
there's-
maybe no romance.
I don't know
but
about
there's-
romance, but
there's a
maybe
lot of
sex,
sex.
There's a lot of sex. Okay, all right.
But yeah,
We piqued my interest.
Yeah.
So, okay, well, I'm going to share a book this week. And so, what is really near and dear to my heart is health. And especially as I age, it really becomes more every year, you know, passing year. It's just all about my health. And one of my go-to, so he has a podcast. He's a doctor. So his name is Dr. Mark Hyman, and podcast, YouTube channel, and he's a New York Times bestseller. So he has a book. It's called The Food Fix, and it really resonates with me because it took me 60 years. I mean, I'd heard for years, we are what we eat, but it never really registered because in my era, as long as you were thin, that's all that mattered. Who cares how you were getting your calories? And we would just go to the gym and run a little bit harder and faster and all the things that were all wrong. But I really love Dr. Mark Hyman because he really takes an industry, which is our food and agriculture policies, how they've been corrupted by money and lobbies. And they've done a really good job because obesity is on the rise in America, but yet our solve for everything is let's just, we'll just slap, here's another prescription, you know, and now we have Ozempic, and I'm not going to knock Ozempic specifically because it has, you know, it's good for type 2 diabetes and a lot of things like that. But these are diseases we could actually control with our diet.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate people like Dr. Mark Hyman because it has not been a popular topic, and he has been fighting an uphill battle for a long time.
Same with Michael Pollan. I don't know
Right?
if you read any of his books, but yeah, he's on that same.
But I'm very thankful that he's out there and really sounding the alarm and pointing us in the direction of the foods that we should be eating and how it
Mhm.
really can enhance our lives. And I'm a big believer in that. And
Yeah.
I've really cleaned up my diet in the past 6 years, and I've really seen
Mhm.
tremendous results because of that. So it's not necessarily being thin. Actually, it was interesting because I was just on vacation with a really dear friend of mine. We were talking about this, and there again, my era was just all about being thin, and that's all that you cared about. And Lori just had her blood work come back, and it did not come back very well. I mean, there are
Mm.
a lot of things that she really needs to address, and so she really does need to change her diet. We had a nice
Mhm.
conversation about that, and I told her it's never too late, and you
Yeah.
really can. And I will share, I just had my blood work done, and I'm like, everything's great, and that's
Mhm.
because I refer to people like Dr. Mark Hyman and books like this that have truly helped me on my journey to be
Mhm.
healthier. The healthiest me that I can be at this age. So anyway, The Food Fix by Dr. Mark Hyman.
Interesting.
Nice.
Okay. Well, that concludes another episode of Message from Mom, where we're busting the myth that mothers-in-law aren't necessarily monsters-in-law.